Welcome to the Recon Trader. In today's video, I will share with you a profit update for the KuCoin new and free Infinity Gridbot that I deployed just about 30 days ago on Bitcoin. Now, if you're not familiar with how an Infinity Gridbot operates, it actually operates very similar to a standard Gridbot. The big difference is the infinity part, and what that feature allows the bot to do is follow the price up essentially to infinity. There is no upper level the bot can go to. It will continue to buy the dips and sell the rips up as high as the price can go. Now, with that being said, a Gridbot basically consists of open limit orders. You will have open limit buy orders for when the price dips, and you'll have open limit sell orders when the price goes up. And there is a grid space or a space between each one of those limit orders, and that is what actually makes up the grid. So if you look at the chart, you'll see these green lines are my open limit buy orders, and the red lines would be the open limit sell orders. And so when the price drops, you're buying at a lower price, and when the price pops back up towards the top, you're selling at a higher price for profit. And so what you're really looking for out of your Gridbot is to buy these dips and sell the rips. And the ideal price action is kind of what you see on the screen here from Bitcoin, which would basically be these dips and the rips back up towards the top. And Bitcoin is known for its volatility, so it's a perfect candidate for a Gridbot. In addition, for my personal strategy, I don't actually mind holding Bitcoin. So as low as it can go, I don't mind buying at a lower price. I know in the long term, Bitcoin's price in the future will be higher. It might not be this month, it might not be in the next 6 months, but eventually Bitcoin's price will go higher. And so my strategy for a Gridbot is a long-term deployment with a lot of this volatility and capturing profit along the way. Now, before we get too far into the weeds into the actual numbers for the profit or loss, I want to point out the parameters for the bot when I actually deployed it. And for starters, the lowest price I had this bot operating down to would have been 40,000 USDT. My entry price when I deployed the bot was 55,000 and change. And then my profit per grid was 1%. So that was the spacing between each grid. And the way the Infinity bot works, if the price goes up 1%, it will sell that 1% of my Bitcoin, therefore always keeping my balance at the amount I originally started with. And in this case, I started this bot with 500 USDT. So if Bitcoin's price went up 1%, it would sell 1%. So I would still hold 500 USDT in Bitcoin. And on the flip side, if the price goes down 1%, it would buy 1% of Bitcoin, and thus I would still have 500 USDT worth of Bitcoin. So with those parameters in mind, when I deployed Bitcoin, the price that I deployed at was pretty much 55,000. And right now, Bitcoin's price is down here around 47.8, let's call it. Pretty much a 13% drop. So had I just bought and held, I would be down 13%. Now, before we move on, do you all think I'm down 13%? Do you think I'm down less? Do you think I'm down more than 13%? Drop your thoughts in the comment section down below before we actually move on, because I know there are a whole lot of you buy and hold trolls that are always commenting, it's just easier to buy and hold. And you might be right, it might be easier, but is it more profitable to buy and hold or deploy something like this Infinity Gridbot? So if your comment was my loss would actually be less than that 13% loss, you'd be right. It's about half that amount. So I essentially cut my loss in half by deploying this Gridbot. My loss currently is 7.95%, and that's because Bitcoin has basically dropped from 55,000 down to around 47,700. And without having this Gridbot deployed, I would be down that 13% we were looking at on the live chart. But because this Gridbot was actually buying the dips and selling the rips, which was the price action we saw, over here on this chart, this is actually current Bitcoin price action. So I was buying low and selling high, and along the way capturing profit. It might have been small profit, but nonetheless, I was adding profit. And that grid profit is approximately 11.5 USDT, which then you subtract from my current negative floating P&L, and that floating P&L would be the total loss had I bought at 55 and sold right now at 47.7. But this is not an actual realized P&L because I haven't sold. And when you add in my grid profits, which are actually realized because it does buy and sell and captures this profit, so we subtract my profit from my floating P&L. And right now, if I was to shut this bot down, my total profits would be actually a loss of about $40 or 8%. And I want to make it clear that, in my opinion, this bot is actually achieving its objective. What it's doing is it's keeping me in the fight. It's actually reducing my losses. It's acting as a hedge against losses. It has cut my potential losses almost in half. And if I can do that with a coin I'm willing to hold long term, 4 or 5 years out, I'm confident this is going to be a profitable strategy. And so while this bot is at a $40 loss or 8% loss over a 32-day period, what does the next 6 months hold for this bot? It will continue to add to my grid profits, and if Bitcoin price continues to go down, it will continue to hedge my losses and at the same time buy Bitcoin at a lower price, which is exactly what I want to do. But on the flip side, if Bitcoin price decides to reverse and go up, I'll be selling that lower price Bitcoin at a higher price and capturing profit. So I think that pretty much wraps it up for this update video. Now I will do another update video probably in another month, so now would be a good time to shoot that subscribe button. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them down in the comment section down below. If you like this video, do me a favor, spike a like, and in closing, remember, never send your money in the battle without first doing your recon. See you in the next video.